Hey guys, it is Friday and welcome to episode 10 of our Marketwatch series. So if you haven't seen this series before, basically what we do is we go through some of the big updates for the week. We go through the grand exchange for the price rises and price falls, just to see if we can spot any decent flips, investments or moneymakers. So we are now into our second week of Necromancy and people are starting to really hit the end game of Necromancy and the higher tier stuff, and people are now transitioning back into PVM. Because of this, we've seen like sharp rises in PVM supplies. Whether the Grand Exchange would have picked it up just yet, we don't know, we will see soon. But in terms of updates and update posts this week, a lot of it will be about like tweaks and different things relating to Necromancy, which I do encourage you to read, especially week 2 of the Necromancy updates. There's some really nice things they've done involving Necromancy to just sharpen it up and also make it a bit better and smoother to do as a process. So let's get going anyway. So let's go to the price rises. I just wanted to say something really quick as well. Obviously, episode 9.5 went down really well, and that is when we went through things like the Necromancy items coming into the Grand Exchange, going through them and like how they've updated and stuff like that. I just wanted to let you guys know it wasn't a moan at Jagex, obviously, for doing it. I think it's really good, and it's really good it reacts so quickly to that incident. We could just do it more often. So like with the 4 frame free stuff, we'll still see it here, where a lot of the frames are still like 40, 50, 60k off their GE price. It's just things like that. If we did it more often where we have a big update and brand new items, just shift their price within the first week to where they've been selling the Grand Exchange, I just think it makes it for a lot cleaner and a lot tidier of a Grand Exchange list anyway. But that's my thought. It is a great move and it's good that they did do it. And I'm sure it's helped a lot of players by showing the true reflection of prices. But anyway, let's get looking. So to start off, obviously my guesses for this Grand Exchange are going to be Necromancy items, PVM supplies, and maybe some 4 frame free stuff. So here are some new overrides. Obviously, overrides always do very well, especially if stuff which looks good. So we've got a running scared walk override and a boulder pet token override. I imagine these have come from the new promo. I haven't seen it yet, but I imagine that's where it's come from. Fish pie is linked to the weapons, so that is why that's there. Subjugation, especially the hood, boots and gloves. I only realized yesterday that subjugation pieces, including all these, are 20 mil each. So the ward and the garb and the gown have come down slightly, whereas these 3 items have now gone up. Normal Zamorak is bank, and whether it's decent to do with Necromancy might be something I test this weekend. But yeah, these 3 items are a lot more expensive, and I definitely expect them to see on the way up what the sheer amount of subjugations going out of the game. Mystic Cloth has risen quite well because of the demand on Mystics, because it's being used for Necromancy armors. Mystic Cloth is actually dropped by, I believe it's Anakus. And Anakus are one of the mid-tier creatures to train on. So that's a good way to make some money, take some note paper or do some other form to have a little bit of profit there as well. Pure Essence is the best way to train for XP once you've sort of got over level 100. So that is why that's gone up. 267 is pretty high to say the least. But it will bring some additional profits to creatures like Abyssal Demons or other stuff which drop that as well. Ghostly Essence, I imagine that's linked to people doing Abyssal Beasts or killing like demons or stuff which drop ashes for their like Necromancy training. So yeah, that's not too bad. Sorrow Brews, PVM. Blood Reaver Scrolls is down to PVM and 10k for a scroll. Reavers are something we need to look into. Like, I think a Reaver pouch at the minute is just under 200k, which is mental. And if you've got your binding contracts, definitely go and kill Reavers, because it's almost like mad how much profit the binding contracts are currently. In terms of that as well, we got some Death Warden stuff, the first piece of the new top tier PVM gear for Necromancy, the robes of the first Necromancer, Extreme Necromancy Potion. These needed sort of like adjusting and get to the price they need to. Decent price for them, 26k. It's good how it's pretty much similar to the rest of them, so that's not too bad. Binding contract for the Blood Reaver. Now, we did say the scrolls are very high, but these have absolutely like gone up. And that's just simply because how useful they are with Necromancy. Anything which is useful for Necromancy now will go through the roof, just because it's in demand and it's helping people train quicker than ever. Blue Blubber Jellyfish, I believe, is used in the boss fight for Rizal, the first Necromancer. So that is in demand. Obviously not dropping Adrenaline. And I don't know about you guys, but for Necromancy, I really struggled to get Adrenaline. So that is very good. Hellhounds and the Calgarians, again, binding contracts going through the roof. And they'll just be going up because of how they're linked to PVM. Blood of Orcus and Hellfire Metal as a result, because binding contracts are in demand, will also be going up quite high as well. Scrolling down, we've got the garb, and up here we have the gown. I think they'll be coming down sort of like next week, but that's just because it's balancing out between the lower items coming up. Undead Slayer ability is very useful because of you're killing undead creatures for Necromancy, so that's expected to go up. The Death Guard is there as well, which isn't too bad. Bunyip pouches, these were selling for 15k at one point, and again, it's because of the demand at Bunyip combat, so you could have profitable summoning XP if you did have green charms. Scriptures and manuscriptures and all the pages, these will go up quite heavily. Archglacier will be decent money, and to be fair, with the Jazz Book, Kerapack will be decent as well, because I think the Jazz Book is slightly better than the Wen, so that is why the Jazz Book will go up. But 400k for a Wen page is nothing to be slapped on, because that is very, very, very high. Berserker Ring, 8.5 mil, I think because of the Reaver's Ring. The Reaver's Ring is like the most solid one. 1.7k for just a basic log, that's not too bad. Death Rider's Lance, 62.4 mil, that is actually really high. And Vindictor could definitely be something to look at. Obviously, now that people have got the higher tier Necromancy items, we are looking at perking gear. So stuff which relates to top end perks, they will have a sharp rise because people are out looking for them. The Guthix Rest have gone very high. I don't know what you need to make one, but because they're useful for Necromancy and for the final boss especially, they've just gone through the roof. Also as well, what might be worth looking at, if you have any Guthix God Grapes, I'm pretty sure that they'll be on the spike soon as well. And then finally, we have some Death Dealer stuff, which I believe is a level 70 armor. Powder of Penance, again, because it makes training AFK. Power Burst of Sorcery, because it brings you more profit with rune crafting, that's why that's gone up. And Hellfire Metal, finally, because of the binding contracts. But yeah, going through that, the things which are really there, anything related to combat, so pouches, especially the binding contracts, Penance Powder, anything which can make it AFK, Blue Blubber Jellyfish, the Guthix Rest, Sorrow Brews, the PVM supplies are now going back up, and anything else sort of related to Necromancy, but that is very heavy on the supply front, and I will be doing a little video based off the supply front as well over the weekend, which I hope you guys are looking forward to, because I think there's quite a lot for people to go off and make money with. Again, all the eyes will be on Necromancy, but I still think there'll be some other stuff to look at as well. Right, price falls, so we're still having the great tank of all the bones. Me personally, now again, this is me, you do not need to follow what I do. Daggenoff Bones at 7.8k is something I will start to look at. It's definitely gone below the threshold of where it's been for 6 months. Probably a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, they did go as low as 5k. Now, I don't think they'll go that low, but at 7.8k, that's something I'm looking at to bank for 120 prayer. Other people might be doing the same, so something to keep an eye on. As well, all the other bones are starting to crash because people aren't really doing that method of training. What they're looking to do instead is the Impure Essence, because it's better XP, because it's got a better chance of more spirits and all that. Bones were really overhyped for this, and we were kind of sold part of a dream. Admittedly, in the gameplay stuff, it showed that you didn't need loads of bones, but I think bones really got overhyped, and the crash is here because of it. If you're looking for cheap prayer XP, keep an eye on the bone prices, and compare XP to GP as well, because some bones will be better GP per XP than others. Sometimes it's better to do a higher tier bone than a lower tier bone. It just depends on things like how much GP you make and stuff like that. So look at what's best and shop around before buying all your bones in one big go. Keys of the Crossing, 370k, absolutely going to the floor. Potato Cactuses and Grimwalls spike for bonus XP weekend, they're still going down. The Inks and the Necroplasm were always going to go down, but they are still very good money. There are still ways that Necromancy can still bring you some decent profits. It's not the end, it's just not as good as it's going to be on release, but again, nothing ever is as good as it is on release, and that's why you always need to capitalize on it while it's there. So other Necromancy things we've got some runes. Again, their prices were very high, they've got to level out, they've got to go down. Dragon Bones, 2.4k. Now this is a point now where Dragon Bones, you look at it and you think, that's decent GP XP for prayer, and I'll be looking at that soon as well to like continue to top up for 120 prayer. Extreme's on the way down, Extreme Magic's absolutely going down at 14k. Draconic Visage, this was an item which was listed as needed, but I haven't seen a need for it yet, so that's quite weird, but whatever. More Extremes and more Necromancy items for Jaws of the Abyss is on its way down. Supersets are on the way down. Again, before a bonus XP weekend, we'll just start looking at these. The problem is with the bonus XP weekend, which is just gone, it had the Necromancy hype. And because of that, that's what I think pushed some prices to all-time highs, definitely in terms of extremes, because people wanted to save money by doing overloads. And because of that, things went through the roof. And I don't think on the next bonus XP weekend we'll go anywhere near the same level of hype we did before. But again, it's what we'll see. White Berries 5.2k, Primal Extracts 1.3k. Black Dragon Hide 1.3k, that's a very good price if you're looking to train crafting, or at least turn them into levers. Bane Bar 7.6k for some Smithy XP. And then just your standard items. Mithril Bar, again, Necromancy item, it's sort of slipping. Different doses of the super potions. Greater Sonic Wave at 44 mil. This will go down quite a bit because of how many people are going to kill the Armored Phantoms. So if you haven't bought or unlocked that yet, that is definitely one to keep an eye out. You might be able to get yourself a little bit of a deal. If you do use Skill Chompers, they're on the way down. Lancerdimes might be one to pick up because the incense sticks very much in demand for the PVM side. However, they seem to be very cheap. But yeah, in terms of that, I just want to make sure that the Grand Exchange hasn't updated on us, because that Lanternine price was slightly less than what it said on the GE. No, it seemed good. And then finally, because of the major impact Necromancy's had, I have a feeling that the higher tier PVM item is going to take a little bit of a hit. So Necromancy is quite cheap for how powerful it is. So because of that, as you can see here, the Bow of the Last Guardian, why would people pay 2.1 bill for a bow like that when they could probably rock a full top tier Necromancy setup for 2 bill? The armors and especially the drops from the first Necromancer are very common in my opinion. I just see him be spammed in the chat quite a lot, and I don't think they'll retain a high price as it currently stands. So because of that, things like your Bow of the Last Guardian, Fracture Staff of Armadale, Seren Godbow, Wonder Praisal, they're all just absolutely like tanking because of it. Admittedly, it was always going to take a hit because there's another combat method to look at now. And the brand new item, the Omni Guard, is settling at the minute around 1.1 bill. But as you can see, quite a few are coming into the game. Obviously, we've only had about a week of this. I think these will level out to about 900, depending on just how OP like the top tier Necromancy is. But if you're looking at buying like the Bow of the Last Guardian or your Fracture Staff of Armor, keep an eye on prices, because I think prices might sort of settle eventually. But if you're looking for a deal, now is the best time to have a look. In terms of those top tier PVM items, the Seismic One's going, Crypt Bloom as well is going to take a hit. Necromancy in Darkness is pretty much just give that a massive like kick. So I don't think we'll see that too OP anymore. Nox items on the way down, especially for Scythe, or saying that the staff is going up. The longbow's down slightly. But yeah, it's a bit weird really. We've not quite seen a drop that aggressive on the high tier PVM items. But maybe it was due, and this was the shake-up Necromancy was always going to give to it anyway. But that's it. So anyway, this weekend, plenty of videos coming to the channel. I've got some ideas about all the resources and supplies to PVM. Got a nice little free-to-play video, and I might throw 2 videos up on Saturday or Sunday. Depends how good I am with editing, but I've still got plenty of stuff to be coming to the channel. We've got the final week of our first bond on the bond account, and I've got some more Necromancy related videos. The main account's Road to 99 Necromancy, which I'm still not, and I'm very much behind. But plenty of other stuff coming to the channel, so if you have enjoyed, please like, please subscribe to the channel. If you've got any comments, how you getting on with Necromancy, things you've found with Necromancy, any money making methods or anything you want me to look into for a video, please just drop them in the comments. Again, thank you for all your comments, really do appreciate it, and it really helps me to create content for you guys, which I know you guys will like to watch. But again, thanks for your time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.